Hey there, it's Ben from Pattern Profits bringing you the weekend update and weekly watch list for the week of May 30th. Nice move in IWO last week. We're going to start with our proxy for small cap growth and put in a higher low, higher high, push through to 1844, push back above 1020 cloud, and you do have potential for resistance here. 231 to 233 level, 5065 cloud is there as well. Multiple layers of anchored VWAPs above. Closed though at 223.67. So you've got about 10 points, what looks like could be a continuation upside and room there. We'll just have to see how it acts if it gets into that area. Good volume coming in too. If we look at FFTY, this is the IBD 50 ETF. Same type move here. Higher low, higher high, back above 1020 cloud, just pushing that into green. It probably early to middle of next week should turn green there. If this does come back in, look for that 1020 to provide support. 34.28 was a prior low over here. That may act as resistance here. You have 50.65 cloud as well as the anchored VWAP off that level above. Year-to-date anchored VWAP above there. So worth keeping an eye on if we push up and into those levels. The one that looks different is PDP, the momentum ETF. You're already back above 50.65 cloud. Anchored VWAP off of that prior low. You're back above the low, 73.30. So just looking, maybe pushes back towards year-to-date anchored VWAP here, which we saw as resistance back here and here and here. So again, small cap growth and momentum looking much better than when we've done these over the last couple of weeks. Getting right into our watch list, going to look at GNK. GNK setting up flag up high. Got this little descending trend line, may push through there ahead of that $26 pivot. That's where a lot of the eyes are going to be on 26. This may give you an early entry opportunity over 25.37 was Friday's high. This little consolidation here, push up and out. Good volume coming in, and that's in a strong group. Again, that's Genco Shipping, GNK. Also going to take a look at RFP, Resolute Forest Products. This like a VCP setup here, starting to take that shape to it. 1510 standard pivot, good volume coming in. You see that late last week, some pocket pivots there, and now just needs to push through. It tried here and here to push through that 1510 pivot, but wasn't able to close above. Wouldn't mind this consolidating, tightening up just a little bit more before it pushes through, but be aware of close and big volume push above that pivot, and then be aware on the left side, 1661 prior high to be aware of if you do push through that 1510 level. Again, that's RFP in paper products group. BBW, Build-A-Bear, power earnings gap here, and you're back above Confluence here. Volume shelf, point of control, 10, 20, 50, 65 cloud year-to-date anchored VWAP off of the high. All of that just below and pushed up and out of there on Friday, but wasn't able to take out that descending trend line. Poked its head above the 2020 pivot too, but wasn't able to push through. So what you'd like to see, maybe this consolidates a little bit more early next week. Get 1020, allow it to catch up to price, kind of like what we saw back here. Then see if that can push up and through the trend line and 2020 pivot. At the same time, if you see big volume coming in, closes above that 2020 pivot, maybe a good opportunity there. Keep in mind that prior high 2350 over here. When this one goes, it does tend to move. So again, that's Build-A-Bear Workshop BBW. Oil and Gas Transports Group has been hot. This is FLNG in that group, consolidating here. Quiet volume late last week. A power of three setup, 10, 20, 50 cloud right there, tight, descending trend line there. Just looking for that to push up and out, make that turn up the right side. You then have 10, 20 cloud to bench risk against. And again, this group has been very hot. That's FLNG. In the same group, you've got HESM. This one, double bottom setup. Here's your right side shaking out the left below right here. Nice run back up the right side. I haven't seen the big volume come in yet. You do have an inside day on Friday. High there was 33.63. Wouldn't mind this consolidating sideways, though, with the run it's had. Watch that 10-20 cloud to catch up the price and then push up and through 34.23, which is the double bottom pivot. Be aware that high, once you get up here, 35.71, the high on the left side to be aware of. Also going to take a look. That was HESM, by the way. Also going to take a look at PCT. You had a power earnings gap back here, consolidated, and now this little, it's sloppy, but little kind of sloppy cup with handle pattern. Volume easing up here as it consolidates below the pivot. 10-20 cloud has caught up the price. I don't have it on here, but the 200-day moving average is right there too. At that 10.05, 10.06 level. So looking for that push through. 10.05 pivot should also take you back above the 200-day moving average at 10.05. Again, that's Pure Cycle Technologies, PCT. Also going to take a look at Chef's Warehouse, CHEF. You had this little double bottom pattern here. Came through the pivot, good volume. 35.51 was a pivot. Then came back in, corrected. You're in this little channel. Came up, reclaimed pivot at 35.51, but wasn't able to push through that upper channel line. So looking for that to push up and through there, out of the channel. 10-20 cloud and the pivot right there to provide support. Can bench it very tightly if it does come up and out. Want to see it get over Friday's high. That was 36.05 was that level there. So want to see it push up and out of there, and then see, just be aware of these other pivots. You've got high there at 37.68, and then the recent high at 39.03. Just want to make sure that as this comes out of there and starts to climb, it does take out those prior highs and pivots. Again, that Chef's Warehouse, CHEF, CEIX in the coal group. This one flags into the 10-20 and bounce, flag and bounce, flag and bounce, flag and bounce. We got another flag here. Inside day on Friday, $54 the high on Friday. Just looking for up and over that. Should get you out of that flag. Again, you're right there benched against 10-20 cloud. Did see good volume coming in last week. And again, coal, CEIX, that is the number one group in the market. So looking for another flag breakout in CEIX. Check some of the others in that group, Arch, AMR, those similar setups in those names. HPK, gonna take a look at High Peak Energy. This is another one, got a little bit wide and loose up here and in this channel, but volume really getting quiet now as it comes up the right side. Looking for that to push out of that channel. Again, this is a really hot group in the market. Several names look just like this. So worth keeping an eye on, because this big volume back here on the gap and this prior run, what gets my attention. Also, you're right there into volume shell point of control, 10-20 cloud, year-to-date anchored VWAP. You have anchored VWAP off of the high and anchored VWAP off of the gap just below Friday's action. So looking for that to push up and out, as always, up and over Friday's high 32.40, and then be aware of those prior highs, 34 here and 38.21 over here. Want to make sure if it does give you a flag breakout, you take out those prior highs. Again, that's High Peak Energy, HPK. One of my favorite setups, flag into next week, VTNR, oil and gas. Very quiet volume late last week as it's consolidated below anchored VWAP right into 10-20 cloud. Had a nice prior run on good volume. Just looking for that to come out of there back above that anchored VWAP from off of the high. Needs a push through 1471. Take that out and then can challenge that prior high at 1620 over here. Again, quiet flag consolidation, looking for that to push out. Heavy short interest here with 33% of the float short. Again, that's Vertex Energy, VTNR. One more to put on your radar, ATI, Allegheny Technologies. Power earnings gap back here had a nice run, consolidated. Now in this descending channel, just looking for this push out and start to climb the right side. You close right there at anchored VWAP off of the high, 50-65 cloud is right there as well to bench risk against if this does push out. So you can bench very tight there with the anchored VWAP and 50-65 cloud, but want to see it come up and over Friday's high first. That was 27.71. Up and over there should get you out of this channel and up the right side. Very quiet volume last week, and just looking for that volume to come back in as it climbs up the right side back towards those prior highs. We had 30.74 prior highs closed Friday 27.26, so that would be a nice run, even if it's just back to those prior high levels. That's all I've got into the week ahead. Hope you have a great trading week, and I will see you over on FinTwit.